And good morning and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. It is going to be stunningly beautiful today. If you are outside of the Missouri and Illinois area, welcome aboard. And by the way, tell your friends and family all over the place to watch a show on positivity and a completely different way of waking up your morning than maybe you're used to. You know, we're all creatures of habit. We were taught at a very young age that mom and dad and grandma and grandpa watch the news. And if that doesn't serve you, and I understand after being in the business for 30 years, then this is the show of positivity and hope and inspiration and light and seeing yourself in stories of entrepreneurs and wonderful people that are serving our community. Today, we're going to do just that. We're going to take you through the ride of a woman who believed in herself. Her husband stood right by her side, and he even jumped on board with her business as well. What she's doing for our community and how she leans in on her faith. So we'll have Jennifer Bonacorsi, the president and the founder and owner of JBloom. Have you ever heard of her? Wait till you see her incredible jewelry. And I'm going to tell a story, but I'm going to wait for this, of hope by a woman that I met yesterday. And I do hope Bridget and Tiffany from the Polo store out at the Premium Outlet Mall in Chesterfield here in Missouri, I do hope you're watching this morning because today I know you're going to get the inspiration that you were looking for. Wait till you hear that story. I hope you saw yesterday's show. And more importantly, I hope you had a chance to get out and celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Mom and I went down to Chesterfield and shout out to all those at Cyberg's and the guy who came by and said that he used to watch me in television. And now hopefully you're all watching this show. It is called The Real Monica Adams Show, and we are on multiple platforms. We do that for you just in case, and I understand some of you don't want to be on social media. Maybe it's a little depressing or it's a little toxic for you. A lot of bullying sometimes takes place, but then some really incredible community stories takes place as well. So if you don't want to be on Facebook, tell your friends and family to watch us on YouTube maybe, or pick your platform. We're on X, we're on Instagram, we are on Rumble and LinkedIn as well. And then we have an audio podcast that drops on Thursdays. And this Thursday, by the way, at 8 a.m., it will be Scott Holman, the author of Stop Clowning Around and Unlocking Your True Potential. Just an incredible human being. It was great to have him on last week on this show. He will be on our audio podcast coming up on Thursday. And we always like to give you some news you can use, some weather for our immediate area, and then stories that affect us locally, regionally, nationally, that things are, we used to call them water cooler stories that people would talk about. Like, hey, did you hear this? Did you hear that? We've got some sports news for our Cardinals and our Blues coming up for you as well. All of that. And then our hope and story of inspiration with Jennifer with JBloom coming up. First, let's get to our weather segment. If you are looking for a warm day and record temperatures, 82 is a record for our immediate area, and that is exactly what's being forecast for today. 82 degrees and a mixture of sun and clouds, and then 60 degrees tonight. Now, tomorrow, interesting, it could be another first alert weather day from our friends over at KMOV. What does that mean? Nothing as damaging as we saw last Friday, but you could have a mixture of some storms moving in and getting really cold, by the way, tomorrow night. And yes, you may see some snow falling from the sky. What the heck? As we get ready to welcome in spring on Thursday, that's what we're talking about. So into Thursday morning's commute, as we head out to showcase the couture clothing at Love Launch in Richmond Heights, where we will not have a 7 a.m. show Thursday morning, by the way. We will have a 10 a.m. show, but we could be driving on some wet roads, hopefully not really affecting as far as any kind of snowy and icy conditions, but it's going to be cold, 34 degrees tomorrow night. And then into Thursday, again, we might have some flurries and flakes out there. 53 degrees on Thursday. Friday, a slight chance of a shower, 30%. 67 though, so we are starting to warm back up again. We get into the weekend, 62 and beautiful on Saturday. Sunday, rain and storms, 66. We get into next week, 60 degrees on Monday. On Tuesday, we have 59 degrees. Wednesday is 61. And then on Thursday, 67. Do you see that little icon they put next Thursday? Yep, we are just 9 days away from opening day for our St. Louis Cardinals. So we'll be talking about that for you shortly. Okay, we are continuing to follow the devastation that took place on Friday. And we told you, as the National Weather Service continues to assess the damage, they are going all around our area and letting us know the damage that exists and also how many tornadoes, the path of tornadoes that touch down. Now, 10. Yesterday, I told you 7. One of them is just outside our immediate viewing area. But look at the devastation. And unfortunately, for many of you, that might be what your homes or your businesses look like as the community has come together to continue to pick up the pieces and try to rebuild. We also saw some of that devastation from a man that was in Poplar Bluff. This story is unbelievable. He said he was thrown about 60 feet from his home during a confirmed EF3 tornado that was in Poplar Bluff on Friday. And the National Weather Service did confirm it was an EF3 through Butler County. This man, Carl Parker, one of the victims, he actually was talking about how he was in his bathtub and all of a sudden the house picked up. He described it as it shook back and forth, and he just all of a sudden leaned in on his faith and asked God to please take care of him. He said that house was lifted up 60 feet in the air, and he said it's a true miracle that he survived. Absolutely. Unfortunately, there were deaths throughout our Missouri area, and there were a lot of you affected. We were talking about dust storms and other, depending on like Oklahoma and Alabama, so other states around the area of the United States. In our immediate area, again, 10 confirmed tornadoes. And according to the National Weather Service, they're saying that could be even higher as they continue to assess the damage. They do need you to report if you have damage in your area because the governor, as well as the county executive, are continuing to look at money that they're going to need for assistance for our area. So do report your damage. We've got 500,000 reports that have already come in since last Friday. And I was talking about some of the damage at Creve Coeur Park. This is the soccer field. I know a lot of you probably have your children that go there. Well, they're assessing their own damage in Maryland Heights. The administrative office building, which was housed in a trailer, was demolished in the storm, now sits in a pile of rubble. Goals from the soccer fields were tossed around and damaged, some in nearby wooded areas. One of the quadrants of the fields will remain closed, by the way, for months. After damage to the turf, the soccer complex hosts the trainings, the practices, the games every night of the week. The damage will have an impact on the soccer community throughout St. Louis, and it may take a while for them to try to rebuild the area. Well, you know, I am the wife of a police officer, and anytime I hear anything about an officer that's injured or shot, it always sends a whole another level of our brothers and sisters in the field. Well, yesterday was one of those. The developing news that took place of a St. Louis City police officer, SLMPD officer, hit by a car on Interstate 70. Did you hear this? It was happening near Shreve yesterday morning. And in a press conference, St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy said the incident began as an investigation into a stolen vehicle. It was a Toyota RAV4 that was carjacked in East St. Louis to the 4800 block of Cote Brilliant. The suspects were then seen moving from the Toyota into an Acura that was later discovered to have also been stolen. The officers spotted that in the 5400 block of Queens. They attempted to stop it. The car drove off, swerved towards an officer. Spike strips were successfully deployed, but the car continued driving, and officers chased that car onto Interstate 70 where it swerved and hit another vehicle. After the crash, 2 suspects were taken into custody, and a third jumped over the center median into the express lanes. The officer held the suspect at gunpoint, climbed over the center median to take him into custody, and while in the express lanes, both the suspect and the officer were hit by a car. The officer fired several shots into the air to alert the other officers to his location. When officers arrived, they put a tourniquet on him and rushed him to the hospital. The officer listed in stable condition right after surgery, and then the suspect was taken to a different hospital listed in critical and unstable condition. On Monday afternoon, if you follow the X or any kind of the social media of the SLMPD, they actually had put out photos of a Cadillac CTS sedan that they were seeking. They did recover that, by the way. Anyone with information that can assist police with the investigation, I have a phone number for you. It is the Crime Stoppers number, 866-371-TIPS, 866-371-TIPS. The mayor spoke out asking for the community to pray for the officer. They are not releasing the name of the officer at this time. We've got a couple of recalls to tell you about. One has to do with water, and one has to do with those lean cuisine meals. Let's start with that one. If you are in a regular shopper, by the way, of Trader Joe's is recalling 60 61,500 bottles of sparkling water. And here is what you need to know. 2 lots of Gerolsteiner sparkling water sold at Trader Joe's stores. They're recalled because the bottles can crack. And that, of course, poses a laceration hazard, according to a notice by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety. The recall involves around 61,000 of the 750 milliliter sparkling water bottles, and they have different lot numbers. So I've given this link to Jenny. She is going to drop the link in for you. The water was sold in large glass bottles, and it contains the cases, by the way, contain 15 bottles. Again, consumers do not need proof of purchase, but you will need to return the recalled bottle to receive a refund. And then Nestle is recalling some Lean Cuisine and Stouffer's frozen meals due to potential presence of wood-like material. I swear, every time we turn around, there's recalls, there's listeria, there's constant problems with our food, and it gets frustrating, right? If you need support on the Nestle recall, you can call 800-681-1676, 1-800-681-1676. This is a voluntary recall, by the way. Stouffer's frozen meals, again, the recall includes a limited number of batches of Lean Cuisine butternut squash ravioli, so look in your refrigerator or your freezer. Also, Lean Cuisine spinach artichoke ravioli, Lean Cuisine lemon garlic shrimp stir fry, and Stouffer's party size chicken lasagna, produced between August of 24 and March of 25. All right, those are the news you can use stories. Now, for those in our local area, or maybe you're just a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals or the St. Louis Blues, let's talk about the Cardinals first of all. They are back in action today, coming off of a win. They're going to be playing the Marlins, and that first pitch will be just after 12 o'clock. But how about yesterday? 6-2, that was the final, beating the Washington Nationals. And as I mentioned, we are 9 days away, because right now they're in the Grapefruit League, but 9 days away from opening day. And then our St. Louis Blues, they're in action. So if you are a hockey fan, we've got the Blues on tap against the Nashville Predators. Game time tonight will be just after 7 o'clock. And then we like to do our National Day of calendar. Yesterday was, of course, St. Patrick's Day and National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day. Did you have corned beef and cabbage? I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of it. But I think Mom went out last night and had a Reuben. I brought home some corned beef and cabbage for Jim to have. It's just not my thing, but I think a lot of it was eaten yesterday, and a lot of green beer was had by many as well, down at Dogtown and all over, celebrating St. Pat's. Today, here's what's on tap for you. We've got several National Day of. Today is National Biodiesel Day, National AG Day. That actually changes annually. National Lacy Oatmeal Cookie Day. And hey, National Sloppy Joe Day, but I want you to go over to our friends here in Fenton. It's called Tidy John's. Again, if you didn't see, we did a show at Tidy John's on Ferry Street, 12 Ferry Street in Fenton, and his brother renamed the Sloppy Joe Tidy John. There's a couple other things on the National Day of calendar. National Awkward Moments Day. We never like those, do we? And National Supreme Sacrifice Day. That's what we have on tap for you on March 18th. If you have a birthday, of course, today or any day, you can always let us know. Shout out for anniversaries and birthdays. That's what your comments are for. We like to look at those, and I'll get to those throughout the show. All right, we're all up to date. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Jennifer Bonacorsi. She's the president, the founder of JBloom. How many of you know about JBloom? Have you ever heard of JBloom? We're going to talk about her story, what led up to it, the resilience, getting through maybe people not believing in you, and you believe in yourself, and what she's able to amass over the years, and the support around her, as well as leaning in on faith. Wait till you see it. We've got our table all set up in front of me that we're going to show you when we bring Jennifer on next.
Wow, I just got off live with the real Monica Adams. What a wonderful experience. I don't watch news because of all the negativity that it brings and the way it drives me emotionally to a place I don't really like to feel. So to be a part of a show that has a sole purpose of bringing positivity to the community, and then with the desire to just build people up. It has been one of the greatest joys, one of the greatest experiences that I've had a chance to be a part of when it comes to being a guest. This studio, it is fantastic. As I watched my show before I came in, I saw the lighting and I was impressed by the way this room is lit, but it is so warm and comforting to be in here. Whether you're a guest or a viewer, this show is a must watch, a must be a part of, and just continue doing great things out there, Monica. You are changing lives every day.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. I'm your host, Monica Adams. Let me introduce my guest. And as we talk throughout the hour, I want you to get inspiration. So if you're going along in life and you just don't feel connected and there's that gut feeling, don't let it go. And if it is let go, don't feel shame or depression or isolation and why didn't I leap? You'll leap when it's meant to be. Jennifer and I are going to talk about this. Jennifer Bonacorsi, she's the president, the founder of JBloom. And wait till you see everything that's here on the set and some beautiful pictures and images that we're going to show you throughout the show as well. First of all, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming. It's great to meet you.
Thank you so much. I've heard so many great things about you, and it's a pleasure to be on your show.
As I have you. So a lot of you, I've been telling you to welcome in Jenny Egan. She's new to our team. Jenny has been raving about Jennifer for a long time now. She used to work with you, right?
She did, yes.
She was one of your designers.
Right.
And we're going to talk about what the designers are. I did that in air quotes in just a second. I want to tell you the story, though, before we start. And I do hope that they're watching. So yesterday, Mom and I were driving around and we stopped into the Premium Outlet Mall down in Chesterfield, in our immediate area, Chesterfield, Missouri. I went in and this was a true God wink. So we both are faith-based and a lot of you that watch are as well. This woman was put into my path and I hers for a reason yesterday. So I was shopping, we go to check out, and somehow we're talking about something and she said, there's a girl here that thinks that you work in media. And I said, oh yeah, I said, I did. She's like, oh, Tiffany, you're correct. She did. And she's like, I knew it. And then we start to talk about that a little bit. And I said, well, I left. I started my own show and want to bring more positivity in the world. And I start saying something about leaning in on faith and how my dad, who's been gone for 30 years, how he and God guided me to this. Mm-hmm. She starts to get a little emotional and she pauses and I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. You know, what's happening here? And all of a sudden she apologizes, Bridget, and she says, I'm sorry, it's been hard. And I don't know where that's going, but all of a sudden I get a chill. And I thought, wow, God, you wanted me to be here. I wasn't supposed to go down to Dogtown and celebrate St. Pat's Day. I was supposed to be right here, right now. And as I'm talking to her, she just can't gain her composure. And I don't know what's going on in her life, but as I always ask everybody, just show kindness to another human being, that whatever that struggle is. So here's the crazy thing, Jennifer. Oh, here's my chill again.
I'm getting chills.
So wait till you hear this, though. So she's obviously going through something and she needs to listen to this show. She needs that little boost of whatever's going on. I'm freezing cold right now. Wait for it. She asked me if she can I think she wants to continue to walk out so you can see that she wants to say something else. So when I tell her, well, tune in tomorrow. And by the way, drop in a comment if you're watching or if you go on replay because you can't watch live, let us know later so we can tag our guest and myself seeing your story. And I say, tomorrow you got to tune in. I said, I got this woman that I can't wait to meet. I said, you know, she really believed in herself and the people around her, her husband, and leaned in on faith. And I told her, I said, yes, she's, you know, in the jewelry world. And all of a sudden she just locks eyes with me and stares at me and suddenly starts to tear up again. And she walks around the counter, walks me out, and she's like, I'm sorry that was really awkward. I was staring at you. She's like, you don't understand. She either has a master's or she has something in gemology. Okay? And then she says, I have always wanted to follow my dream in jewelry. And she's like, I cannot believe you're saying this, Monica. And she's like, I'm overwhelmed right now. And so she was making sure that she was writing down, I've got to watch. I almost started tearing up like, are you serious?
Right.
Like, but come on, folks. If you don't think that God works in mysterious ways, I was absolutely supposed to be there, affect her life, have her hopefully start to watch the show from here on out and believe herself. And I can't wait for you and everyone else, by the way, to hear Jennifer's story. But isn't that unbelievable?
I have the chills too.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's one thing to say I'm a little bit lost. It's been hard, but let's believe in ourselves. But then to say that I have a connection to the jewelry aspect and I want to do that. I don't know, just mind was
Thank you,
blown
Lord.
yesterday.
Thank
Yes,
you, Lord.
exactly. That's the story of what
Mhm.
happened with me yesterday. But I mean, anybody else
I
that wants
love
to
it.
comment about that, please drop in a comment of things like that, or just feel sometimes
Mhm,
miraculous.
mhm.
Now let's tell Jennifer's story. So let's go back in life prior to you saying, I want to do this.
Mhm.
As you were going along in life, what did you do prior to this?
Sure. So prior to all the jewelry world, I was an early childhood special education
Mhm.
teacher. And after my husband and I got married, I moved here to St. Louis. He worked in corporate America, and I got my first teaching job. And I knew that once I had my family, that I would love to be able to stay home.
Mhm.
So once that started happening, and we have now 4 beautiful daughters, but at the time when we had 3, I decided to make jewelry for fun, just as a hobby, just for
Right?
myself.
Sure.
While my husband traveled, my daughters were taking naps. I thought, "Oh, this will be fun. I'll make jewelry and have." Well, what happened was I was wearing it out and about, my girls' dance classes, church, and people were asking me about my
Where you got
jewelry
it from, right?
and
Yeah.
if they could buy it off of me. And so I would come home so many times with no jewelry on, and my husband was watching this happening, and he was like, "You should do home parties and let people design their own jewelry, and then you take it
Look at
home
that
and
beautiful
finish it for
family.
them." Yeah, I love them so much, and now we're adding boys to the family.
Oh my goodness.
That's fun. So my neighbor had the very first, at the time, You Design Jewelry party. That was what our company was called first.
So she has the original,
Yes,
and I'm sure she's
yes,
very proud of that original.
yes. She was the very first one.
So, Jennifer, a lot of people have like, oh, yeah, I've done that. I've had little parties, or I've
Yeah.
thought, oh, I'll do this for fun. Or
Mhm.
sometimes you say, oh, maybe I'll do it as a side hustle. When
Right.
you were having friends and family saying, can I buy those pieces? Because that's really where the spark happens. And I talk about sparks. I talk about something being ignited, or we talk about whispers that we think God gives us. And sometimes we have to be slapped in the face or
Right.
punched in the gut to say,
For
go for
real.
it. When people started saying that to you back then, what did you feel inside?
So honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, I thought, no, this is my hobby. This is for me. And my husband was watching it over and over, and he was like, but this is what's making everyone so happy.
Mm.
Jewelry's making people happy. And so and when I was meeting these people, the stories that you get to hear through the jewelry that we're creating is pretty special. So our tagline is "Wear Your Story,"
Mm.
and that has been such a great
Give me a chill.
inspiration through all of the ups and downs that come along with owning your own business.
Yes.
The stories are what keep you going.
Absolutely. Again, if you're just tuning in, Jennifer Bonacorsi, the president, the founder of JBloom. There's the website, by the way, jbloomdesigns.com, and follow her on social media at jbloomdesigns. I would love to know, all of you that are watching, do you have some pieces? Do you have some of the originals? Do you go back in the beginning and go, oh my gosh, I remember when she started this? But I love the fact that you just said something that's very important that I need all of you to listen to: the ups and downs. You don't all of a sudden decide to start your own business and it's easy street. Not at all. And that's the resilience. Are you able to believe in yourself and have a community around you that believes in you? Because when you doubt yourself, someone has to lift you up. And how many times did you doubt yourself?
Oh, many times, especially in 2008. That's when our economy went downhill really fast.
Mhm.
And we had a company full of sterling silver beads and 14 karat gold filled. And all of those things were expensive. But
Sure.
at the time, the market was really high
Yep.
for those things. So every time we were selling a piece of jewelry, we were losing money.
Mm.
So during that time, we had to keep fighting and figuring out new ways to be innovative and change.
Mhm.
Change is a key in business. If
Yes.
you don't change, you're not going to grow. And so one of the things that we had to look, and also our business, You Design Jewelry, was very crafty, and people were getting burnt out, and they
Yes.
didn't want to do that any longer. So I was missing a group of women who wanted to wear jewelry, wanted to sell it, but they didn't want to make it. So that's when in 2013, we rebranded the whole entire company to JBloom, and that's what it is today.
So you designed a JBloom, and so where did the name come from?
So that I get asked that a lot. I absolutely love the name Bloom, but there's flower shops that
Right.
have that name. So I had to put the J in front of it. And many people think it's for Jennifer, but
I
it's
was just gonna say
actually
it's
for
not?
jewelry.
Oh.
In my mind, it was for jewelry, but I didn't even think about Jennifer at the time.
Interesting.
But the first 3 letters of JBloom are my monogram. And we
Oh,
do so much with personalized jewelry
yes.
that when it was my monogram, I thought, okay, that's the perfect name. And the definition of bloom is the greatest period of productivity and prosperity cultivated for its beauty. So we get to use jewelry as our tool to meet and reach more people, more women into our community of women, and it can impact families as well.
We're looking while Jennifer and I are talking at some beautiful pieces, and I'm just going to look at the evolution. Another really powerful thing Jennifer just said is change. How many of you have an aversion to change? In fact, the word alone, Jennifer, whenever I have coached anyone in training, personal training, life coaching, I don't use the word change because all of a sudden I'll see this body language shift. And so I use the word what I just said, shift. So there are shifting patterns. The path sometimes can be like this winding mountain. It's uphill, downhill, and that is exactly what it is, but it's what keeps you going. So as you're all watching, if it's personal struggles and strife that you have, it's professional, what keeps you going? I love when I was reading your story, and thank you, by the way, for sending over all your information, the fact that your husband, first of all, he's the one that planted the seed
Right.
and believed in his wife, but he also went all in. Talk about that.
Yes. So we laugh because in our business, he is the numbers guy and I'm the creative side. And it
We
works
need that,
very
right?
well
Yeah.
because we need both of those things. And so he's a huge part of why You Design and JBloom are in existence because he saw it before I did and he knew what it could become.
Mhm.
And now we have ladies all across the country selling our jewelry, wearing our jewelry, customers. I mean, I tell our field over and over again that if it wasn't for JBloom or You Design at the time, I would not know any of these people.
Would you have
So
stayed in teaching?
I would have stayed home with my children,
Stayed
but
home.
maybe have gone back. But
Yep.
now, no.
I mean, that's the thing that I always love is when you see now where you are, and there's a really powerful thing that's in the world right now where you talk to yourself. And I'm going to ask Jennifer this. I want you to tell yourself right now, what would you have said to your younger self when you were just starting out? And then what are you going to tell yourself from 5 years from now? Let's go back first.
Ooh. Back, I would tell myself to go for it, never give up. And actually, I would probably tell myself that again because through the situations that I've been through, that's why you can't give up.
Yeah.
And you use certain situations to fuel yourself. I'm kind of competitive. So if somebody tells me, oh, I don't think that's going to work, I'm going to show you how I can make it work.
Let them watch.
Yes.
We started a hashtag 2 years ago, hashtag let them. And now Mel Robbins, for all of you that, right? So now her book is just skyrocketed and everyone's all
Right.
about let them,
Mhm.
let them, let them. We
We've
did the
put
whole
that
let them
on a
watch.
lot of pieces of jewelry lately.
Let them.
Mhm.
Yeah, that it's taken over. I'm laughing though. I want to get a hold of Mel Robbins and go, hang on a second, go back 2 years. We did hashtag let them watch. But you know what? It was the time for
Yeah.
everyone who doesn't believe in you. And so tell me that. How many people said, you can't do this for a living?
Oh, I probably can't even count how many times. And now we've just launched this new brand called Permalinks by JBloom. And we are not very well liked in the permanent jewelry world
Why?
because of the way that people that do that, they weld.
Right.
And we have a different system that we do. And if you can't take it off, it's permanent. And
Right.
they are saying it's not permanent because of the way we do it. So I love that though, because
That you're unique.
Yes. And we have a different way of doing it. And it works. So I will go around and around with someone that thinks it doesn't work because it does. It's just a different way.
So there's always bullies. There's
Yes.
always haters. There's always someone who doesn't want you to succeed. There are a lot of insecurities and jealousies out there, but you can't give them power.
No.
Once you start giving them power, watch what happens to your path.
Crumble. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Ooh, give me a
Yeah.
chill. No crumbling
No,
today.
no.
All right,
Stay
Jennifer,
strong.
stay strong. Jennifer Bonacorsi, again, my guest. She is the president, the founder of JBloom. We'll give you all the information of where you can go to follow her, again, at her website or on social media at JBloom Designs, or you can go online as well. There's your location. I want to talk about that because when Jenny said, I've got this wonderful woman of hope and resilience that I want you to talk to, I knew back then because I bought some pieces from her when I was in television. And I
And I
love
would
them.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
see them on you,
I love that.
actually.
I was like, oh my gosh, I love these. And I love the
Yeah.
faith aspect and the crosses and things like that she'll put on and the unique customized side that she can do for you. But I was like, oh, these are really, really beautiful. And at the time I was like, oh, is she doing it out of her house? Is it a small little boutique? And then all of a sudden I see this headquarters and I see these people. Look at these people
I
that are
know.
all, I mean, that has to make you proud. You're like a proud mama. I'm going to
It
ask you about
is,
that.
it is.
We're going to take a quick break.
Mhm.
We have more with Jennifer Bonacorsi when we return.
My house is so outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carroll House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carroll House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice things.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, again, anything that you ever miss, that's the beauty of streaming. You can always go back and watch the entire show. Later today, take bits and pieces if you're running off to work or school or wherever the day takes you. Come on back and then share this. It's a big thing we always tell you to do. Share, like, follow. I had someone last night saying, oh, do I subscribe? Yes, it doesn't cost you anything. You subscribe on YouTube so you get that notification, and you follow on Facebook or Instagram so that you get the notification when we go live. And that way you can know, again, what are we talking about? What kind of person are we shining a spotlight on? Today, it's Jennifer Bonacorsi, the president, the founder, the CEO of JBloom. But it all started a long time ago with a vision, a dream. Let me talk about the passion aspect. Were you always creative and artistic?
I've always loved jewelry and I've always loved fashion. So I guess so.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize once I started making the jewelry how much of a passion I truly did have.
Right. And then it just gets ignited from there. So we mentioned before, if you didn't hear, that her husband saw this belief, saw what kind of joy that you were bringing to others. Mm-hmm. Again, it started from the home. I actually had a friend a long, long time ago, same thing. She's like, I have stuff everywhere in my basement and I'm doing these things. And she believed, I don't know if she's still out there somewhere, but that's it, is like someone believes and then they try to take it to the next level. You also, you mentioned earlier, Jennifer, that you're competitive. And so you see other things that are out there. But as the world goes on and we talk about what happened in 2008, let's talk about what happened in 2020.
Right.
That at that point, whether it's a financial standpoint or it's just, this is too difficult, I can't go on, there were other competitors out there that folded.
Right.
That helps you.
Correct.
And sometimes we have to look at that. We don't
Yes.
want other people to fail,
No.
but we do need to see opportunities.
That's true. And in 2020, when that happened, we were an in-home party company.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to shift that day to an online company. And we were not very good online, if I'm going to be honest. So
Why do you think?
We just drilled into our people that we are in-home. We do in-home boutiques. We do in-home, events. And when you're told the next day, no, you're shut down, you have to be all online. So thankfully, the world was changing at that time to more online. We just hadn't shifted yet.
Right.
And so, but the crazy thing is I was already doing training to launch in July of that year at our conference on how to be better online.
Ah.
And we were already preparing it. We just didn't realize we had to launch it that quickly. So we shifted. I love that word.
Yep.
And we made it happen. We did a 2-night training and we went all online. And it was a bad 6 weeks. But after that, our field took to it. They had fun with it. Mm-hmm. And we did we did a lot of changing during that time, and it was great for us. So now we're really great in home and online.
So let's talk about that 6 weeks though, because there's a story to be told there, whether it's one day, because it's talk about patience. And
Right.
many people, and I've done a lot of shows on patience and a lot of shows on resilience and a lot of shows of perfectionism and the dark side of perfectionism, right? It's great to want to level up and always do your best. But when you think, I got to be perfect, and there's so much stress on you, that's when people start to fail. But day after day after day feels like year after year when things aren't going your
Right.
way. So talk, because I think this is where people can find the teaching side of this. What did you do during those 6 weeks that helped to catapult you to where you are now?
Well, first of all, we did a lot of prayer.
There you go.
Prayer, and we had faith that it would work. And we did a lot of communication to the field during that time because there was so much fear and so much doubt and unbelief in what we were wanting to do, because they wanted to believe that they could still go in home and that it wasn't going to last that long.
Right.
But we had to keep going back and forth and saying, no, right now we have to do this new way.
Yeah.
And just trust us. And so that's another core value at JBloom is trust. And change and our quality and our recognition and on trend. All of those things are what encapsulate and make a JBloom designer successful.
So, right. So in the fashion world, I do design and wardrobe consulting for clothes, for men, for women, but it's the same thing. Jewelry, where we're going to be doing a lot of food and fashion segments, by the way, coming up. That's for breaking news. For those of you that don't know about it, we're going to start those on Fridays. I cannot wait for that. But she just mentioned on trend. So as you are making sure that you are what everybody's wanting, you're talking about what everybody's talking about. You're out there. You're getting hashtagged or whatever. What are you following to make sure that you are right where you need to be?
Well, Europe is about 6 months to a year ahead of the United States. So I look
is that,
there.
by the way?
I don't know. I'm like, come on, we need to be up on the times. But it's great to use that as a reference.
Yes.
My vendors are awesome, and they tell me what's coming as well. And then what I do is I take the pieces that they have and I create it and change it to make it JBloom.
Okay. So so it's funny. I remember it's probably been 2 decades, if not more. I used to always laugh because there were a lot of people that were like, oh, so what you're dressing in, and it was back, I was young. I probably could even go back in my 20s where I would be looking at magazines and just watching things from Europe, but even also New York and California. And we used to say that we were 2 years behind.
Yes.
So I actually do
It
see
is
that as
getting
positive. There we
closer.
go.
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at it. Yes, we might be 6 months to a year, but not 2 years. We're getting better here in the United States. And I love that. But yes, I just came back from Italy and I was in awe of everywhere. I'm like, oh yeah.
Fashion.
But that's what's fun. So if you do go over, find some unique pieces, bring them back and try to be a trendsetter.
Right.
You mentioned earlier, Jennifer, about the unique side, and you talked about the JBL, right, of JBloom, and how you personalize things, or somebody wants a monogram. How often do people come to you and say, I want this for myself or someone else, and I want it personalized? Because, by the way, she made this. I know we can't zoom in on it right now, but Jenny was all excited. She's like, she has an M on there for you and a cross, because I'm very faith-based. What percentage of your business is that kind of customization of someone's lettering for them or somebody else?
It is a big part of our business because we can take handwriting, we can take a photo and put it on a piece of jewelry for someone. So if it's a memory that someone wants to carry with them, or a date, or a wedding date, or an anniversary date, or a photo of a baby or a pet. We get a lot of pets? Pictures.
Yeah.
And so the personalized side is what makes us unique and different.
Yep. We're looking at some of that, by the way. So you just mentioned handwriting. So if you've got something from a parent or a spouse or a child that's passed, they can bring that to you.
Yes.
And you just gave me a chill. Yeah. I see a lot of that. People will we're talking about permanent aspect. People will do that like on tattoos, but nothing against you. I'm not a tattoo person. I would want to put it on a piece of jewelry. Yeah. Ooh.
When we launched permanent jewelry, everyone thought I was doing tattoos.
Oh, really?
They thought that's what permanent meant.
I didn't know. And how long has that been around, by the way?
It's been around a really long time. And actually during COVID is when it really took off on TikTok.
Oh.
But
and that's
where they were welding and doing, and I knew from my previous company that is not duplicatable. That isn't going to reach the masses to take an argon gas tank into someone's house or to drive with that in your car. I knew that I didn't
That's not a
want
good
that
thing.
to be for my designers. And so I needed to create a new, different, simple, secure way.
Yeah.
And my daughter actually is the one that came to my husband and I with the idea. And she goes, we have to do this. And we knew the way that it was being done. And so we had a lot of discussion. My husband likes to say we weren't arguing, but it was kind of arguing. But just coming up with a different way to do it to make it unique.
Which is what we're looking at.
Yes.
So for those of you that do know, and I want to thank Michelle, because Michelle's the one that first introduced me. When I kept hearing permanent, that's the same thing I did.
Yes.
I'm like tattooing? I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, well, what is it? And then I saw it at our Galentine's event from a young girl who's very big into jewelry out of Greece. And so she was doing it. And I'm like, oh, and I was watching. I said, oh, okay, now I understand. But let's talk about, since we just saw that picture, let's talk about how yours is different from what maybe other people have been introduced to.
Sure. So we use only stainless steel. So
Okay.
it's a hard metal. It does not change color. It will not tarnish. You can wear it every single day. And it doesn't stretch as well, because a lot of places are using 14 karat gold, which is great. And the price point is very high on that as well.
Sure.
But it's a soft metal and it will stretch over time.
Okay.
And then the welding is a big part of it. We don't do that. We have a little jump ring that we use that's secure, that once that's closed, it will stay on until you want it to be taken off. And then we've launched also some stones, as well as some colored pieces as well, which have been really fun.
So it's interesting because if we think back, well, whenever you were introduced to jewelry, you go to bed and you always take your pieces off.
Yes.
Now you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. You wake up and you have jewelry on every day.
Yeah, you're like,
You're
oh, I
ready to
forgot.
go.
No, I didn't. It's on me.
Exactly.
So from the permanent jewelry standpoint, is it several things, or it's bracelets?
Yes.
What
So
else?
we have bracelets, necklaces,
Okay.
anklets,
Anklets.
and
okay.
we just launched bangles, which
Oh.
have been really fun. So
Yep.
There's
So
that.
she's got that all on.
Mhm.
So interesting. I remember back when I was, I don't know, high school or college, the anklet thing was a big thing, and then it went
Mhm.
away. And it's always the cyclical thing that
It
comes
is,
back.
yes.
Has anklets been
They're-
around for a little while?
They have,
Or
but
just
they
coming
are
back?
coming back, and they're a big deal in these next few months with summer coming up. But permanent anklets, people are loving.
That's the
those.
thing.
Mhm.
For all ages. That's the other
Yes,
thing, because some
yes.
people will look and go, "Oh, that's something for my kids. That's not for me."
Yes.
Is there anything specific that the kids are all about right now?
They are. They love these colored ones, which are really fun. But if you're in sports too, a
Oh, yeah.
lot of people want them, but they can't have it because of sports. So
Right.
we do provide a clasp so that we can still custom it to your size,
Okay.
but we can put a clasp on it so you can take it off when you're playing your sport.
Isn't this fun? I love.
So
When I was in television, Randy Naughton worked with me over at Fox 2, and she always said, "Accessories make the outfit."
It
And
does.
so you can put
Can't
it all
agree
together,
more.
right? You put it all together with your clothes, and then if you're missing those pieces, once you put them together, it's like, oh wow, it really brings it to life. The handbag brings it to life. The shoes bring it to
Yes.
life. It's a whole nother level. So if someone gets complimented regularly, trust me, they have attention to detail from head to toe. And that's why you're drawn to them, because they saw that. And you've got someone like Jennifer who's like, well, let me help you with this. Let's talk about that part. We're going to take another break. When we come back, I want to talk about how you have amassed all of these designers. And from what I understand, did you take them all to Mexico?
We did. There was a rewards trip, and so you had to earn it to be able to go.
Okay, well, hang
And
on.
this is
we're
the
going to
biggest
talk
one.
about how they
Yeah.
earned it. And what?
Yes.
And then are you looking for more people to join
Oh,
us?
absolutely.
Always.
Yes,
Okay.
always.
So, Bridget, I hope you're watching, because maybe this
Mm-hmm.
is what you were looking for yesterday. Maybe this is where you felt lost and it's been hard and you wanted to get back into the tie of what you're passionate about, you and anybody else. So, how can you join this? We're going to discuss that with Jennifer when we return.
I had so much fun coming here today and talking with Monica Adams. It was a blast. I love working with other women supporting women, being positive, energy, excitement for everything that you do in life. Wake up in the morning, get out of bed, and say, what can I accomplish today? Professional, being a support system for other women is always a great thing. People judge your success in life in so many different ways, and so many people feel like money is the reason, some person is successful. To me, I honestly think being the key to success and being successful. Money can't buy happiness, but being around your family and your friends and enjoying the life that you have made for yourself is really what true happiness is, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Monica, for having me here today. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've done to help me with my business, and keep trucking on. Thank you so much.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
And welcome back. Okay, Jennifer, I always love the break, and I always talk about the show after the show during the show, the things that you miss out on that we always try to bring you back into. And again, thank you all. We couldn't do this show without you watching, all of our sponsors. Again, please support those that support us. That's what this is all about, so we can be here for you for years and years and years to come. You just saw that promo that, thank you, Michelle, for putting together, where it showcased the custom work that I do, the design work. And as we were in the break, I looked at Jennifer and I said, you and I should do something together. And she's like, yes. And both of us got chills right at that moment. What do you think a chill is, by the way?
I think it's a great feeling.
Where do you think it comes from?
I don't know.
I think it's God. Here again, and I'm faith-based. I believe it's when you are feeling something and then all of a sudden you get this. And then if it just I sometimes am like, oh my gosh, it's like going from head to toe and it won't stop. I think it's God, or I say it's my dad sometimes, saying, yes, 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 exactly what you're feeling. Go with that and do not forget that.
That's so true.
That's what I think it is.
And during our conference too, when all the ladies are sharing their stories, by the end, I mean, we're all a mess because we keep getting the chills over and over because the stories are what impact and change lives.
And it's what keeps you going.
It does.
So when you hear those and you get a chill, it is kind of remembering where you came from and having the humble side of you being a role model or you inspiring someone to rise up, and then you're hearing what they feel that you've done. And I believe it just is saying, keep going, or get more creative. And this is what they're wanting. Okay, we're gonna, before we get into the designers and how you can be a part of this, there's some wonderful people asking questions, and that are people that just absolutely love fashion. So Rose said, I love women who live their dream, which is what Jennifer's doing. Jennifer Bonacorsi, again, is my guest if you're just tuning in. Jenny was just saying, so inspiring, isn't it? Let's see. Michelle said that you have your jewelry at St. John Vianney High School.
One of our designers' son goes to Vianney.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Rose wants to know, Jennifer, what's your favorite jewelry item? Is it a necklace? Is it bracelets? Your lucky daughter.
Oh, my favorite are necklaces because I feel like that's the statement that people notice the most. Yeah. So I always make sure that I layer necklaces. I love that look. And charm necklaces are such a huge trend right now, which is why I created one for you.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I was like, let me put this on.
So much fun. And you can make yours your own story, which I love. So we have similar pieces, but they look different because of the way we style it.
Right. Again, customizing things for you. And we're looking at some of that. Kathleen said, I haven't heard of this jewelry. Thank you for introducing it to me. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So this show is all about, do you know what's going on in the world? But also, more importantly, do you know what's going on right here in our community? And I'm all about supporting small business and everybody lifting each other up. So again, if you're just tuning in and you didn't see the beginning of the show, we're talking 2002, 2004. Jen was making jewelry as a hobby for herself. People began buying it off of her wherever she would go. Her husband, Brett, shout out Brett, by the way. Thanks for doing this. He said, you should do home parties and let people design their own jewelry. And again, it was you design jewelry. And then it shifted to JBloom. And now she's just amassed all these people that love what she's doing and then want to be a part of it. So you have designers. Correct. How many are you up to now? Have you lost track?
We are between 3,800 to 4,000. Yes.
Look at these pictures.
And that is our national conference that we have here in St. Louis every year.
Thank you for having it here in St. Louis.
Yes. And we'll have that every July. That's when we launch our new catalog. And all the ladies come from all over. They get to meet each other. That's when the magic happens, when you get to be together.
Yeah.
And the community is what makes us so unique and special.
So, and look at all, I mean, come on, it just keeps growing and growing. So 3,800 from all over the place?
Yes.
How does someone become a designer with you?
It's so easy. If you know a designer already, you can call that designer, sign up with them and be a part of their team. Or if you don't know a JBloom designer, you can contact us. You could go to our website. You can call our office, which is 636-922-3853, or go to the website, jbloomdesigns.com, and we can help you get signed up.
You just said, Jennifer, that's where the magic happens when everybody comes together at this conference in St. Louis, sharing ideas of how they've been successful with it, I'm sure.
100%.
What's the most unique things that you've heard? Because I'm sure you love to walk by and hear the conversations going on and probably get this aha moment of, oh my gosh, look how creative that person was.
Well, just the locations that some of these ladies pop up at to do their parties. You know, they're at the state fair. They're in the trunk of their car at their daughter's soccer game, and they're doing a boutique in the back of their car. I mean, you can take your jewelry places you can take it everywhere you go. That's the joy of it. And that's the one thing when we launched Permalinks by JBloom, we wanted it to be a system that you could take with you. So that's why we have the wallet, that everything that you need is in that wallet to take with you everywhere that you go.
And again, when we talked earlier about on trend, this is as you mentioned, and I think that's where Michelle saw it, that it was on TikTok or maybe Instagram, and it's all the rage. Everybody's talking about it. So let's make sure that we're on trend. Let's make sure that we're giving the world what they want. Besides that, also, this is something that Jenny said, you also have a jewelry subscription called a Bloom Box.
Yes.
And you can subscribe for each month. Talk more about that.
That is a exclusive set of jewelry that comes to your doorstep every single month.
How fun
it's
is
so
this?
much fun. It's not in our catalog. It's only to that program.
Okay.
And so it's a bracelet, necklace, and earring set that's on trend for that month. It's so much fun.
There you go. Why choose us? Exclusive designs, unique pieces you won't find anywhere else, quality guaranteed, the convenience of it. Again, fashion delivered right to your doorstep. And it's $39 per month.
And
but
then
the retail value.
Oh, it's almost $100.
So there you go.
And then we also have the earring extravaganza, which is an earring subscription that's $20 a month. And that's an exclusive pair of earrings every month to your door.
This is so much fun. And that's really, again, when we talk again about on trend, so much over the years. I remember I'm a big fan of Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna used to open these boxes of things that she would get, and she would be like the biggest kid in a candy store. Look what I got, look what I got, look what I got. And it's just fun. Who doesn't love coming home to a box of goodies?
And a turquoise box at that. On your doorstep.
Yeah, we tried, actually, when we put the coloring behind us, like, let's get something close to what Jennifer likes. You mentioned earlier about people earning the opportunity to go to Mexico. So what took place there?
There's a sales goal and then a recruiting goal in order to be able to go. And so we want as many people to be able to go as possible. So we make it accessible to anyone and everyone in our company to have that opportunity. We do other things like a director retreat or a leadership retreat, and that's for certain levels, but this opportunity is for everyone. And so this year we had over 300 people on our trip, and it was so much fun. We almost had the entire resort. It was awesome.
What part of Mexico did you go?
We went to Riviera Maya. And it was called Hyatt Zilara, which was fun.
And they're like, here comes the JBloom girls.
Yeah, it was.
Do you have any guys that say, I want to sell?
I think we've had some come and go, but I believe right now we do have one.
I love it. And then what about the ages? Do you have young girls?
A variety. The one that I absolutely love, we had a girl, she started when she was 17
Mm-hmm.
and she has earned the trip. I think this was her third time and she brings her mom with her. Now she's in college, but it has been life-changing for her because she's been able to pay for her college and all of the other extra expenses that come along with it. And that's her job while she's in
Right.
college.
Well, again, and college is expensive. It just keeps getting, it's crazy. I mean, you know, you got these young kids that are trying to survive the economy and they're trying to figure out, how do I pay for my apartment and my car?
Right.
They get creative and then they start
Yes.
coming up with things of what can I do? And again, when you look all over social media, Instagram and TikTok, Snapchat, the ones that the younger generation is on, they are all loving this. And so it just makes sense. And parents might say, well, go out there and get a real job.
Right.
This is a real job,
It really
Mom.
is. It really is. And permalinks has been a game changer for
Sure.
all ages. And so the college student, this can be your job.
Yeah.
You take that wherever you go, you can do. So we've done so many sorority events, the mom's weekends, the dad's weekends, because they get one with their daughter. It's
Yeah.
so much fun.
Are there designers in our area that you team up with that you've had a lot of great success with?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just thinking, I know Hats by Diane, she's watching. Audra Harold, who's with the St. Louis Fashion Alliance, they're watching. And I'm sure that people just come up with ideas of, well, like we were just talking at the break, hey, we should do this together. We should do this together. So think about it. Be creative. Dream it and say, hey, I need to reach out to Jennifer or her designers. I think we should do this together. This will be big. We've got the catalog on the table. How can people get those from you?
Those we can send one
Send 'em
out
up?
to you so you can ask
Or
them.
they can go online. Is that the easiest?
Absolutely. Shop online or you can see the catalog online.
Yeah. And again, if you have just tuned in and you're like, well, where do I find all this? You can follow her on social media, go to the website. We showed you the phone number for the headquarters. Where is your headquarters, by the way?
It's in St. Peter's.
It's
It's the old
massive.
Gold's Gym on
Yes.
Highway 94,
And you took that over in what year?
2021.
So again, if you look back when your husband believed that you should do this and would believe that you would take over a massive Gold's Gym.
The crazy story is we would drive by it with our kids in the car and we would tell them that would be the perfect space for JBloom, but it was a gym. Then our kids would be like, well, that's a gym. That's a gym. We're like, no, but look at it. It would be perfect. We didn't know. And then fast forward, it closes. COVID happens. No gym is going to, or anything was going to go in there. So it had been closed for 2 years. And we went and looked at it and we walked in and our realtor, we were telling him where we could put everything that we had envisioned it to be. And he was like, you guys act like this is already yours.
You're right.
And
You
we were
said,
like,
I
well, it kind
manifested.
of is.
What was it about it that was drawing you in?
The space, and it was so interesting when you're in a visible space like that, people are now realizing that it is a real company.
Oh, that's true.
And so when we were in an office space, it's not visible, you don't get the exposure as much. But when we went on Highway 94, I think it's 30,000 cars go by that on a daily basis. And it's amazing what can happen when you're visible.
You said I've arrived, right? People now believe. Where were you before?
We started in the Economic Development Center, which is an amazing way to start your business. It's an incubator for small businesses in St. Charles County. Awesome. So we started, of course, in my basement. When we outgrew my basement, we moved into that space. They have a room for conferences. They have the shipping area, everything that you need to start your business. And then the idea is that you grow out of that space.
Yeah.
And so then we were in a different office space on Cave Springs, but we've always stayed in the St. Peters area, which has been amazing, St. Charles County.
So, and you had said that where did you grow up?
I'm from Champaign, outside of Champaign, Illinois.
Champaign-Urbana area?
Yes.
Okay. And then you came into St. Louis how long ago?
Oh, goodness, 30 years ago.
30 years
This
ago.
was 30 years.
So in your home, this incubator, there was another space, and then this now?
And then Gold's Gym.
And she's just taking over. She wants to take over the world with you, though. Is that right?
Yes.
It's community,
Join
lifting up community. And you may have not heard, if you just tuned in, about the ups and downs and the people not believing, and people can hate on you and, hey, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. There's always going to be opinions. What is it that you do, Jennifer, to stay the course, stay the path, and not listen to all of the chatter and the negativity?
Well, for me, I did have to harden my heart just a little bit
You're right.
because I can't get offended by that.
Amen.
And so you have to just take and you can be a good listener, but you just don't have to let it affect you. So I think listening is a huge part, but just if you don't agree with it, or you know that that's not going to catapult and make your business better,
Right.
then you just listen, but you don't have to do it.
And the art of listening is an entire show that I think we've done in the past. We probably need to do again, because if you are just waiting for someone to be done so that you can say what you want to say, that is not listening. It's being ever so present and focusing, because you can hear the negativity that's out there, and then you take that and say, well, that doesn't serve me. I'm not giving power to it.
Right.
That's their opinion. Not shaming them
No.
or getting into an argument with them. That's their opinion. It doesn't connect to you or attach itself to you. But when you listen to other opinions, you might get a creative fuel of, oh, that's a great
really
idea.
great idea. Yeah.
And that's where you lose the ego and you humble yourself and say, thank you for that. By the way, can I run with that? I'm going to do this. Let's do this together. Yeah. There's your teaching tool, by the way.
I love it.
All right. One final break. We're going to wrap up, give you all the information that you need to know. Again, maybe you want to be a part of this, or maybe it's just like, oh my gosh, yes, I love jewelry and I want to be able to purchase some of this and keep fueling all the beautiful dreams that Jennifer has. More with Jennifer Bonacorsi when we return.
My house is so outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carol House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carol House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice things.
Hello everyone, Joe Thomas here with Weingarten Vineyard here. Just had a great day at the set of the Real Monica Adams show. I think the biggest takeaway and the biggest word for the day for me is passion. You can see with her craft of how passionate that she is to provide a different view from what she had done in her past career, now in a new career. She made today so easy, and it was easy for me as well, because we share that passion for what we do. When it's doing interviews on set, giving a different view on life, essentially, and different experiences for you guys. Today could not have gone better. I most definitely encourage you guys to continue to tune in to her shows, and maybe you'll see me back again. You will see me back again. Sorry, Monica.
Create beautiful gardens and landscaped areas with everything you need at Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and Florist. A great selection of outdoor and indoor plants, gardening items, landscape materials, lawn and garden equipment, and much more. Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and Florist.
And again, I always tell you, support those that support us. We've got incredible sponsors that are a regular part of our show, and then all of those that bring us to their business because they want all of you Monica's maniacs that you call yourselves, to come to their businesses. This one's a Mobile Monica on March 26th, so that's next week at 10 o'clock in the morning. I drove by, actually. Washington, Missouri, by the way, is just so absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful drive. So you go out to 44 and 100 and you're heading in, and you'll go past Hoffman Hillerman Nursery. I want you to stop and I want you to come on in. We're going to find out more about these potting bar private classes for two. Do you say, I really wish I had a green thumb and I don't? Well, they're going to help you with that. And they have the most stunning bouquet of flowers that they sent me last week that they're at my home right now. I almost brought them on set, but I knew we were going to have all the jewelry displayed. They smell incredible. So next time you're looking for flowers for someone, I want you to remember Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and then send some flowers from them. So that's a Mobile Monica coming up next week, but we have one that literally just came about that's in 2 days. We are going to be at Love Launch. Have you heard about Love Launch? They're in Richmond Heights in the Boulevard and another location on the Hill. Leah is the owner. Leah believed in herself, just like Jennifer did. Love Launch. I'm going to find out all about this name, but it literally stopped me in my tracks. There's the view for you of Love Launch. And it is truly straight out what I believe looks much more like New York. It's very couture looking, which I love my fashion. I like to be unique. I like to have pieces where people say, where's this from? I want this one right here, by the way, Jennifer. This color I think you and I would both love.
Yes.
So shop small, but that is what made me stop, run into the store, say, I don't really have time, but what is this? And then all of a sudden, thanks to Dana Dean, who I used to work with at Channel 5, she does PR for Love Launch. And she's like, are you serious? And I said, this is another God wink. I actually ran in, asked for her card, was going to reach out to her. And then all of a sudden it came to me and they're like, we want to bring you there. So we will not be doing a show at 7 o'clock in the morning Thursday. Instead, we will be at 10 a.m. at Love Launch. Come by. It's by appointment only when you have your inspiration of what you want for clothes. They do appointment only. I need to hook the two of you up, by the way. Leah and Jennifer, I think they would really do some good things together. All right. But we're going to get into our devotional before we end. But I was just told about some coffee shop that you have. Is it within the parking lot of where you are in St. Peter's?
The parking lot, yes. So we laugh because we have all of our favorite things all in one spot. We love coffee, so why not bring a coffee shop into and it's a local owned Exit 11. It's amazing.
11. Okay.
And then we also, because Gold's Gym, it has a full court gym inside that we kept, and we've converted it to volleyball because our families are volleyball players. And so we rent that space to a club volleyball team. So they have a different entrance. And so we have all of our favorites, jewelry, volleyball, and coffee.
You want to know why this woman's successful? That's genius. That's very, very smart. We gave a shout out to your husband earlier, Brett. What are your children's names?
Macy, Claire, Mia, Claudia. And then we have two son-in-laws, Jacob and Caleb.
Beautiful family that we showed you earlier. So shout out to all of them because it's, again, who we surround ourselves with, who believes in us, and it's the family, and then friends that become like family. In an industry like this, it's very easy to say, I've got to give up. And there are times where that happens, but you can always reinvent yourself. 2014 and 2024, something like that happened. In 2014, Jennifer had a company in the industry close, and you said we had many from that. They came to JBloom. So it's when something goes away, it's an opportunity for other people to say, okay, come on over here. We welcome you over here. Last year, you acquired a jewelry company that was a competitor in the industry. So always being aware, always having the other little designers out there listening for her. I just am so thrilled that I finally had a chance to meet you because Jen's been talking about you for a long, long time. And don't take her away, though, because she just joined me. Well, actually, she can do it on the side, right? There's always things that you can do. So, Jennifer, before we wrap up, we always do a devotional. I'm going to read them to you instead of colors because I have a feeling color-wise you would pick this one. And I just did this one yesterday. So, 100 Days to Freedom. So if you're struggling right now, like I mentioned yesterday, I met someone who felt like it was just hard. And we get it, but we want you to overcome. So 100 Days to Freedom from depression, fear and anxiety, anger, or shame.
Fear and anxiety.
Yep. See, look, if I go back over the last 2 years, it is the #1 book that's picked.
Really?
Yes. So I could go through a lot of these, like 100 Days to Freedom from Depression right now is on, where do I have it turned down? That one is on day 29. Fear and anxiety, by the way, is already on number 59.
Wow.
Right? So it gets chosen a lot. But fear and anxiety sometimes leads to depression and shame and anger and all those things. But it's like this is the foundation of it. So before we read from this, I want to give you all the information of where you can go to find Jennifer online if you want to follow her on social and the phone number. So it's jbloomdesign.com. Again, online at JBloom Designs, located again in that old Gold's gym building in St. Peter's. Phone number up on your screen where you can find them as well. And then find pieces for you or for your loved ones if you're looking for something unique. Because a lot of times people are like, this person has everything. Nope, they don't have anything really, really customized maybe for them. They can do that. Okay, so Jennifer chose 100 Days to Freedom. These books are from Stephen Arterburn. I got these at church. I love the colors, first of all, and then they just really spoke to me. And hope they speak to you as well. This is day 59 of 100 Days from Fear and Anxiety. So it's actually called Prayer today. As for me, I took to the Lord for help, and I wait confidently for God to save me, and my God will certainly hear me. That's Micah 7, verse 7. The concerns, the cares that fill your mind can cloud your thinking. What ifs? Thoughts like, how can it be? Can make us hyper-focused on a problem and distract us from asking for help. Looking at a problem from all sides, though, it's not necessarily wrong, but it leaves out the Lord who provides that insight for us and the hope for you. Surprisingly, many believers don't always pray when they're filled with worry. They talk about praying. They ask others to pray for them, but they barely spend their own time with God themselves asking for help in their situation. I don't know why, but I just got to chill. Have you prayed about your concerns as much as you have talked about them? That's an interesting question. If you are not praying for God's help and wisdom, you actually may be missing out on the very answer you're waiting for in that situation. God's waiting for you always to share your heart, your worries, your victories. And as you spend time in prayer with God, you begin to know him more, which will increase your trust in him. You'll come to know that he's always ready to listen to you and provide for you what you need at that very moment in your life. And sometimes you have to have that patience, not in your time, it's in his time. This promise will give you hope no matter what happens. There's one particular woman that said, the reality is my prayers don't change God, but I'm convinced prayer changes me. Praying boldly boosts me out of that stale place of religious habit into authentic connection with God himself. I love authenticity. Max Lucado, I love Max, says, our prayers may be awkward, our attempts may be feeble, but since the power of prayer is in the one who hears it and not in the one who says it, our prayers do make a difference. And Corey Tenboom says, is your prayer your steering wheel, or your spare tire? That's a good one. Steering wheel or your spare tire? Here's your prayer. Lord Jesus, thank you for listening and your ear. Help me as I bring my concerns, my cares, and my celebrations to you. I'm grateful for your constant presence and assurance. Amen to that. That's a good one. Belief in ourselves. I know Jennifer, myself, anybody that's ever decided to go at it, we have a lot of fear, anxiety, but does it overwhelm you? Does it take you over, or does it fuel you? I say this, and I want to be remembered for this. I don't want to leave this earth anytime soon, but if today was my last day on earth, I want you to remember this. The greatest rewards in life come from the most uncomfortable walk. We need to put that in my studio somewhere.
Oh, you do need that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
And I hope this isn't the last time. I think she and I will do something together in the fashion world. And again, Fashion Food Friday is coming up very, very soon. We're excited for that. Jennifer Bonacorsi, thank you so much. If you didn't get a chance to hear the whole show, go back. Take the pieces with you that you missed out on, and then share like crazy. Spread the word of hope and positivity and inspiration. Believe in yourself the way she did, or the way Brett did, and her family, her friends, her designers. Believe that you can do it. Before you are anything, though, be kind to each other. That's the greatest thing you can be. God bless you all. Have a beautiful day.